Hello, welcome back to my channel, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be the next episode in my 5 meals for under £25 from Aldi. If you don't know, if you are new to this channel, I'm currently filming a long running series where I am creating 5 different delicious meals for up to 4 people, sometimes even more than 4 people, all for under £25 from Aldi. I'm generally doing themed weeks, so I've done a slow cooker theme, I've done an Italian theme, I've done a general family meals theme. This week is my Spanish theme. I've already done my Aldi haul with the price breakdown, which I've linked down below for you. I've also linked all the other episodes in this series so far down below for you. And yeah, today is the Spanish week, so I'm filming over the next 5 days delicious Spanish inspired meals that we love to eat at home. So I personally mainly shop in Aldi for me and my family. I've done that for a while because I do really believe in the quality of food from Aldi, but now more than ever it's important because Aldi is a lot cheaper than quite a lot of the other supermarkets. And if you want to see how the rest of the series goes, then subscribe because we've got lots more coming up. I'm going to attempt to do this with Lidl as well. I do love Lidl, it's just a little bit further away from my house, so when I do next go there, I will be stocking up and doing some 5 for 25s from Lidl. Anyway, that whole series is linked down below. If you're feeling super duper nice, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to leave a comment. Just let me know like what you think of the recipes I'm making or what you would like to see more of, any particular type of theme you'd like to see. I know a lot of people are requesting the Greek theme. I'm well up for that. And let's get on with tonight's dinner. I'm going to be making a really simple, easy, family-friendly paella. Okay, today's recipe is a simple, easy, family favourite paella. So this is a take on paella. Obviously, it's not going to be a really authentic version. You can get that in Spain for sure. But this is our easy kind of when we want to throw one together on a Wednesday evening, and it's going to be nice and quick. So the first thing you're going to do is chop up your onion. So I tend to use 1 large white onion or 2 medium onions, and I just chop them up into little cubes. And then you want to add 3 cloves of crushed garlic. A really easy way to do crushed garlic is to get a very large flat knife, and literally you don't even need to peel them, you just crush them under the knife and the skin will peel away easily and the garlic will be opened and crushed and will let out all its garlicky flavour, and it's delicious. So throw those in to a large wide open pan. We have this amazing iron pan that I actually purchased from Aldi. It's a dupe of a Le Creuset and it's brilliant. I honestly can't live without it. But soften the onions and the garlic together until the onions are slightly translucent. Also added a splosh of olive oil. Once they've softened for a while, you want to add in your chopped up chorizo. We're going to be making chorizo paella. You can make this with chicken or tofu pieces, or you can do it a bit more authentically and add some fish in. So once your chorizo, your Spanish chorizo from Aldi has started releasing its oils and the pan is starting to go red, I tend to add my spices and herbs. So I add a heaped teaspoon of smoky paprika, sweet paprika, and also a heaped teaspoon of turmeric. Then I add some salt and pepper. Now saffron is usually added into paella. I had saffron in the cupboard. What I'm going to say to you now is completely a non-essential. If it's in your cupboard, add a tiny little sprinkling of it. If it's not in your cupboard, don't worry about it. I know it's essential if you're going to be making this really authentic, but this is just a quick, easy weekly meal. So yeah, saffron is very, very expensive. So if it's there, use it. If it's not, don't worry about it. Anyway, then I add some risotto rice in. This is the kind of only short grain rice you can buy from Aldi, or I actually think I bought that from Lidl. But add your risotto rice into the pan and stir that around so it soaks in the olive oil and spices. Meanwhile, get a litre of veggie stock boiled. and pour that in. Then you're going to let that simmer for a while. It's going to simmer in total for maybe about 45 minutes plus. Keep stirring just so the risotto rice keeps moving and doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. But slowly but surely, I'm doing this in 10-minute segments, as you can see. Slowly but surely it's thickening up. The stock is reducing and the rice is absorbing nice and slowly all of the stock and the flavours. Really super duper simple. The only kind of time management you need to take care of here is to keep stirring it just to make sure the rice isn't sticking to the bottom. Then I always just add a big heap of peas just because I love adding peas into risotto, or sorry, into paella. So add your frozen peas in and keep stirring. Eventually, after about 30 minutes of stirring, the rice should have absorbed and it's going to thicken up really nicely like this. Oh, it's such a delicious, easy meal. I can't even describe to you just how easy this paella is. And everyone tends to love it because it's just everyone tends to love this dish as well. Like my son absolutely loves this dish. So everything has now cooked. The rice needs a tiny bit more cooking. If it does, what I do is add a tiny bit more boiled water from the kettle. I put the lid on. What I did actually forget to film is I chopped some lemons into wedges and put the lid onto the dish, and then the lemons sort of steam and the rice absorbs all the lemony flavour. It's absolutely stunning, really nice. Serve up. I'm serving up mine and Lawrence's. I did also serve up some for Oren, and there was some left over. But here it is. The next dish I'm making this week is a Spanish fish and chips. So this is a really healthy, delicious take on fish and chips, and I make it Spanish, so Spanish salad, Spanishy styled fish and homemade chips. Oh my gosh, so blooming good. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get your veggies ready. So I chop up my chips. I'm using a mixture of sweet potato and white potatoes just because they're both delicious. Lawrence definitely had to cut the sweet potato. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to cut those. But I don't peel the potatoes, I just give them a really thorough wash and leave the skins on. Skins, extra potassium, and it's just delicious when you make them skin on fries. So spread them out evenly onto a flat baking tray, and then I just add some olive oil. I've been cooking with olive oil more than rapeseed oil lately, and it's been really helping my gut health, to be honest. I add a good portion of salt and pepper on, and then I add a bit of smoked paprika onto the chips, and that makes them just extra delicious, gives that Spanishy like Mediterranean flavour. And they're going to go into the oven for about 30 minutes at 180. So I put those in first because they are going to take the longest. And whilst the chips go into the oven, I prepare everything else. So I get my tomatoes, I use a whole pint of tomatoes, put them on a flat baking tray, drizzle them with olive oil and a bit of salt. And then I make my dressing for the fish. So we're using hake this week, and I squeeze an entire lemon into a little cup. The lemons from Aldi are actually really juicy. I find them really good, to be honest. So squeeze the entire lemon into a cup, and then you want to add some crushed or minced garlic. I had this minced garlic in the fridge that needs using, but I have got garlic in this week's budget. So yeah, you would just crush your garlic. And then add a good healthy dose, probably about a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Make sure there's a little bit of olive oil in there, and then you want to pour that evenly over your fish. Now, what I do with the fish is I put it into like a little tinfoil boat. So once all of that is drizzled over the fish, I scoop the tinfoil almost around it, leaving a gap at the top so it sort of steams and sort of bakes, keeps all the juices in there, and make sure it doesn't go dry. So the fish is going to go in for about 20 minutes, but I do check it with my thermometer, to be honest. I've linked a thermometer down below because I find them so useful with cooking. Oh gosh, it makes cooking so much easier. And then whilst the fish and tomatoes are baking in the oven, I'm going to prepare my salad. I also challenge anyone to open a packet of olives and not eat any. You can see Lawrence like grabbing a few and just eating them. Yeah, honestly, it's impossible not to eat olives before you serve them. Anyway, I literally just wash a massive handful of spinach, put some salt and pepper on there, and then I throw my olives in whole because these are pipless. These are without pip. They're pipped. Then I use the oil from the olive pack to be a dressing for the salad. So the fish needs a little bit more cooking, but the tomatoes are ready. So I take those out and pour them straight onto the salad. That wilts the spinach just a little bit. It's really delicious, easy trick to use. Then I check my chips after about 25 minutes. They're looking good. Give them a quick zhuzh around, and I will put them back in the oven for about 10 minutes. I put it back in the oven with some leftover tomatoes that we saw in the fridge. So we actually had more tomatoes than I showed you before. Anyway, the fish is now done. So you can serve up. It's such an easy meal. Honestly, it looks really delicious. And it's one I like to serve with friends and family because it looks like it's quite, you know, a high maintenance posh meal, but it's really easy to do. Hake is a really gorgeous fish. If you like cod, you will like hake. It's a bit cheaper than cod. And yeah, it's really good for you, and it's smoky and it's delicious. So serve it up with the fish, the side salad and the chips, and it's a nice salty Mediterranean style dish. We really love it. And Oren really loves hake, actually. He really loves seafood, which is good because Lawrence isn't so keen, but he does enjoy it sometimes. But there you go, really cheap way to make an authentic sort of Spanish meal. Okay, the next meal is probably the most underrated dinner you can make every week to save money and get all of the goodness into your body, and that's an omelette. So this week I'm making a Spanish omelette. I tend to make an omelette once a week, and it's always like different things go in there. This week is a traditional Spanish omelette, so I'm throwing in some red peppers, which I dice down quite small. Peel some white potatoes and chop them 1 centimetre thickness. I did actually make too much potato here, but 2 potatoes would do fine for probably about 4 people, but I made 3 because don't know why. But I chopped up the potatoes into maximum 1 centimetre thickness, and then these need to fry. The potatoes need to be in the frying pan with the veggies for about 25 minutes. So I throw the potatoes in on their own for a while, get them cooking with some of the onion and a big healthy dose of olive oil. So I cook those for about 20 minutes prior on medium. And then after about 20 minutes, I throw in the peppers with the potato and onion. Everything started to soften down now, which is great. And I do drizzle in a little bit of olive oil at this stage as well. And I throw in a bit of paprika and a tiny bit of garlic. Then I mix my eggs together. This is for 3 people and I've put 6 eggs in. So mix them together in a separate jug and give them a really good whisk, and then pour it over your vegetable mix. And it should cover the whole thing. It should be fine if you've got a nice wide frying pan. The best thing you can use here is a non-stick frying pan because everything's going to start getting a bit sticky. But make sure the edges are constantly being moved with your spatula. Let some of the raw egg run down the side of the pan when you are moving around the sides, just to get it cooking quicker. Whilst that's cooking on a low to medium heat, I do throw in some chopped parsley. This goes so well with the Spanish omelette, chopped parsley. It's absolutely delicious. So throw in your chopped parsley whilst it's still cooking. Make sure you're moving the sides around just so the raw egg moves around a little bit. Now, what I personally tend to do is once it's mainly cooked, the top will still be a bit runny. If you can flip it, go ahead, you be brave. But I throw it into the grill for about 3 minutes and it is cooked on top and absolutely perfect. As you can see, this is an absolutely gorgeous looking omelette. It's thick, it's delicious. I do serve it with a side salad as well, leftover spinach leaves and olives, and it's so good. Next up, we've got a pasta dish. I know, not very Spanish themed, but I have to include a pasta dish somewhere. We do love eating pasta. We probably have pasta once a week. I think people think I eat pasta all the time, but I have it about once a week. This is a chorizo pasta with veggies and peppers and onions, and it's delicious. We make this pasta dish based on what we have left over in our fridge. So often there will be leftover tofu in there that we've used from a stir fry earlier in the week, or there'll be chicken in there that needs eating. This week I had chorizo, which we decided we were having in our recipes, so chorizo it is. First thing you do is chop up your peppers. So I slice them up nicely, sometimes dice them. I use whatever pepper I have managed to get from Aldi that week, give it a really good wash and slice it up, dice it. And I chop up my garlic. So the way you prepare your garlic actually depends on how the garlic flavour comes out. So I want this to be a really kind of, not bitter garlic, but a very strong garlic flavour. So I tend to chop it up instead of mince it this time. So chop up your garlic, cloves, I use 2 to 3, chop up your onions, and then you're going to cook your onions and your garlic together for a little while with some olive oil. So whilst the garlic and onion is cooking and softening for a while, I do chop up my chorizo, and I season my onion and garlic with smoked paprika, a little bit of cayenne pepper as well, just to give it a bit of spice. Cayenne pepper is in my cupboard. It's totally up to you if you use it. After the onions have gone very, very soft, I throw in my peppers. I don't tend to put those in at the same time as the onions, just because I like it to have a little bit of crunch left to it. But throw in your peppers. To be honest, this is such an easy dish to make. You can throw in whatever veggies you have left. I've actually thrown in raw broccoli before and let that cook for a while. And then throw in your tomatoes. I'm using a whole punnet. Now, I had a whole punnet of tomatoes that needed using in the fridge. If you want to use tinned tomatoes instead, absolutely feel free. There is going to be barely any difference, but it's tomato picking season, and these tomatoes were really sweet and delicious. I threw in a nice helping of salt. I let them cook until the skin starts splitting, and then I just push them down, let them pop. It's really satisfying. And it really brings out the tomato flavour. So once they've been cooking for a while, you can throw in your chorizo, which is going to be diced, and let that all cook together for about 10 minutes before you start throwing in the cream. Now you want to make sure the heat is turned down to low when you add in your cream. If you are adding cream, you don't have to, but we are. Lots and lots of pepper to this, and a bit more smoked paprika. Now it's down to a low simmer, so I can add in my cream and just keep stirring, get all the flavours mixed in with the cream. Just look at that sauce, it's just so good. This is definitely like a weekend dinner. It's so delicious. Anyway, I have made sure everything is mixed together. Now you saw me there adding a little bit of balsamic vinegar. That adds a really nice depthness to this. So if you do have balsamic vinegar, go for it, add it in. If you don't, you don't have to, it's not necessary. But this is where I now add frozen peas into the last bit of the cooking. So that will cook for about 10 minutes with the frozen peas, or petit pois. Petit pois is my favourite type of vegetable at the moment. I'm obsessed with them. And as you can see, I'm adding more pepper. The more pepper, the better, in my opinion. If you don't want lots and lots of pepper, don't add it. It's not necessary. Make sure you have got the smoked paprika in there though. Cook your pasta. I went with this egg pasta this week, this fresh egg pasta. I like to cook pasta so it's al dente, so it's got bite, so it's not too soft, but it's not crunchy at all. It's just right. And then you want to pour your pasta in with the sauce, and mix that around together. And the pasta almost takes in a bit of that sauce flavour. It's just so delicious. And then serve up. Really, really delicious. You, as I said, can do this with some tofu. You can do it with mushrooms instead of any meat. You can do it with chicken. just so delicious. There you go. It's a really yummy meal, and it's actually very cheap to make and very filling. So next up, we're making a Spanish style baked chicken and rice. This one is really delicious and we really enjoy it, and again, very easy. It's actually been made so much easier since I've bought this pan. I bought this just on a whim and I can't believe I survived without it. Anyway, I'm very annoyed because the start of this footage was actually deleted off the camera by accident. The camera overheated and then shut down and didn't save the footage. So that's a little bit of a pain. But basically, the first steps you need to do is season your chicken with lots of smoked paprika, some cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, olive oil, and you want to get that browning in a separate dish. I always brown it separately. And then you want to chop up or slice up onions, red pepper, and any leftover chorizo you have, because that actually goes really well with this dish, with olive oil and lots of smoked paprika and garlic. So I've got the chicken frying in one pan and all those veggies and the chorizo in another pan. So once they have softened, you can start adding your rice and veggie stock. So I've gone with low salt chicken stock because Oren is going to be having this dish this week. So those are the only stocks I had for him. But throw in a pint of chicken stock into the softened vegetables, and then once those veggies are softened with the chorizo and the stock has been in there for about 5 minutes simmering on a very low heat, you want to add your chicken thighs into the dish. They have fully browned. They're not fully cooked yet, but they have browned all over. Cover that for a while, let that cook for a while. I let it steam and then open the lid after about 10 minutes. I am going to throw in some rice. Now, as this is going to be baking in the oven, what I do tend to do is put the rice into all the gaps instead of just throwing the rice all over the top. I want to put the rice into the liquidy gaps, and see me doing it here. As you can see, the rice isn't just spread all over, it's just in the liquidy gaps between the chicken. And that means the rice won't burn on the top, and it will take in all the liquid, and the chicken gets to stay on the top and brown even more in the oven. So all the rice is added, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. The liquid is all absorbed by the rice and it steams away in the oven. The rice is ridiculously beautifully flavoured because of this. The chicken is now cooked. I do add a tiny bit more water and add it into the oven just a little bit more, just because I wanted the rice done a little bit more than it was. So you can do the same if you find the rice hasn't cooked enough. I add some lemons in, which steam for a while, which flavours everything. Honestly, if you want to make any kind of rice dish that would go well with lemon, steam it, it's delicious. But as you can see, there it is. I top it off with parsley and it's blooming delicious. And those are my 5 meals for this week. All the recipes and methods I am adding to my Instagram and down below. And enjoy. Let me know if you do make them. I really hope you enjoy and you're enjoying this series, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye!